Filipino Court, Mr. Benjamin Ibrahim. So first is the arrival of Dr. Jose Rizal in Manila. On June 26, 1892, Rizal arrived in Manila. A week later, on July 3, he founded the Liga Filipina. 4 days afterwards, on July 7, he was arrested and deported to Dapitan without benefit of trial. During this interlude in his life, he practiced medicine, conducted scientific researches, established a school, built the town waterworks, beautified the local plaza, town square, carried out literary and artistic pursuits, engaged in farming, became a successful businessman, and increased his knowledge of languages. Noong dumating si Rizal sa Maynila, noong Hunyo 26, 1892, dito niya itinatag ang Liga Filipina. Pagkaraan ng 4 na araw, Hulyo 7, siya ay inaresto at diniport papuntang Dapitan ng walang paglilitis. Sa mga araw na ito sa buhay ni Rizal, ay siya ay nagpractice ng medisina, nagsagawa at nagsuri ng mga pang-agham, napatayo ng eskwelahan, itinayo ang town waterworks, pinaganda ang plaza, natupad ang kanyang pagkamulat sa panitikan, mga masining na gawain. Siya ay nainganyo sa pagpapamin o pagsasaka, naging matagumpay na negosyante, at lumawak ang kanyang kalaman sa iba't ibang mga lingwahe. Rizal and his sister, Lucia, arrived in Manila at noon of Sunday, June 26, 1892, on board the small steamer Don Juan. They were met by a platoon of carabiners and their commander. While the carabiners were inspecting their luggage, a captain and sergeant of the Guardia Civil Veterana, Manila Police, both in disguise, watched the inspection proceedings. After the custom inspection, Rizal and his sister were allowed to go. Si Rizal at ang kanyang kapatid na babae na si Lucia ay dumating sa Manila ng tanghali ng Linggo noong Hunyo 26, 1892 kasama ni Don Juan. Sila ay nakilala agad ng platoon leader ng carabiners at ng commander nito. At habang ang mga carabiners ay nag-i-inspeksyon sa kanilang mga maleta, ay ang kapitan at sarento ng Guardia Civil Veterana o Manila Police ay pawang nagpanggap ng mga sibilyan at nakatutok sila sa pag-inspeksyon. At ilang minuto matapos mag-inspeksyon ang mga custom ay sina Rizal at Lucia ay agad-agad ding pinayagang umalis. Para magkapagpahinga ang dalawang magkapatid na Rizal ay nagparehistro sila sa isang hotel o rente sa Binondo, Maynila na ang hotel na ito ang pinakasikat na hotel sa Maynila sa panahon na ito. The next is the founding of the Liga Filipina. The succeeding days saw Rizal a very busy man. His presence in Manila caused a sensation among the Filipinos who were all eager to see him and talk with him. On the other hand, the Spaniards were worried, fearful of his great popularity. On the night of July 3, 1892, a week after his arrival from Hong Kong, Rizal founded the Liga Filipina in the home of Doroteo Onghongco, Ilaya Street, Tondo, Manila. Sa tuloy-tuloy na pagkabisi ni Rizal, ang kanyang presensya sa Maynila ay nagdulot ng pagdama sa mga Pilipino na nasasabik na makita at makausap si Rizal. Sa kabilang dako ay naging worried at natatakot ang mga Spaniards sa pagiging kilala ni Rizal. Ang La Liga Filipina ang samahang itinatag ni Jose Rizal sa Kalye Ilaya, Tondo noong 3 ng Hulyo 1892 sa panahong umuusbong ang militanteng nasyonalismo sa lipunang Filipino. Ang La Liga Filipina ang samahang itinatag ni Jose Rizal sa Kalye Ilaya, Tondo noong ika-3 ng Hulyo 1892 sa panahong umuusbong ang militanteng nasyonalismo sa lipunang Filipino. Sina Ambrosio Salvador, Bonifacio Arevalo, Deodato Arellano at Agustin de la Rosa ang tumayong pangulo, ingat yaman, kalihim at piskal ng nasabing samahan, habang may 14 naman itong kagawad kabilang sina Andres Bonifacio at Apolinario Mabini. Tungkulin ng bawat kasapi na magbigay ng butaw na 10 sentimo sa samahan buwan-buwan na gagamitin sa pagsustento sa masisipag at mahuhusay ngunit maralitang miyembro sa pagtulong sa mga kasaping nangangailangan ng tulong pinansyal, sa pagpapautang sa mga nagnanais pumasok sa negosyo o agrikultura, at sa pagpapatayo ng mga tindahang abot-kaya ang bilhin. Bagamat hindi subversibo o tahasang lumalaban sa pamahalaan ang La Liga Filipina, masigasig na binantayan ng mga otoridad ang mga kilos at gawain ng mga miyembro nito sa simpleng dahilan na si Rizal ang nagtatag ng samahan. Pansamantalang nagtigil ang samahan nang hulihin si Rizal at ipatapon siya sa dapitan noong ika-7 ng Hulyo 1892. So next is the aims of the Liga Filipina as written by Rizal in its constitution, where first, to unite the whole archipelago into one compact and homogeneous body. Second, mutual protection in every want and necessity. Third, defense against all violence and injustice. Fourth, encouragement of instruction, agriculture, and commerce. Fifth, study and application of reforms. Hangarin ng samahan ng La Liga Filipina ang mga sumusunod na ito. Una, pagkakaisa ng buong Pilipinas. Pangalawa, pagtataguyod ng mga reforma. Pangatlo, pagbibigay ng suporta sa edukasyon, agrikultura at komersyo. Pang-apat, paglaban sa anumang uri ng karahasan at di makatarungang gawain. At ang panghuli, pagbibigay ng proteksyon at tulong ng bawat kasapi sa isa't isa. So next is deportation to Dapitan. On July 7, 1892, Rizal was summoned to Malacañang. Governor Despujol asked him if he still wanted to go back to Hong Kong. Rizal replied in the affirmative. After some conversation, the Governor-General produced some handbills which were allegedly found in Lucius Pilos when they arrived from Hong Kong. The incriminatory handbills were printed copies of anti-friar article entitled Pobres Frailes, Poor Friars, under the authorship of Father Jacinto, and bore the imprint of Imprenta de los Amigos, Manila. Noong Hulyo 7, 1892, si Rizal ay pinatawag sa Malacañang ni Governor Despujol at siya ay tinanong nito kung siya ay babalik pa sa Hong Kong. At agad-agad namang sumagot si Rizal at sumang-ayon. Magkalipas ang ilang pag-uusap ni Governor General Despujol at Jose Rizal, si Governor Despujol ay nagbigay ng ilang handbills na nakita niya sa kanyang kapatid na si Lucia sa kanyang unan noong sila ay dumating sa Hong Kong. Nga paratag na ito ni presenta ni Governor Despujol kay Jose Rizal ay naglalaman ng kopya ng anti-friar o salungat sa mga praile na artikulong paksa o artikulong entitled Pobres Frailes o Poor Friars. Ibig sabihin, mga may hirap na praile na under the authorship of Father Jacinto. So next is the gubernatorial decree recited the reasons for Rizal deportation as follows. First, Rizal had published books and articles abroad which showed his loyalty to Spain and which were frankly anti-Catholic and imprudently anti-friar. Second, a few hours after his arrival in Manila, there was found in one of the packages a bundle of handbills entitled Pobres Frailes, in which the patient and humble generosity of Filipinos is satirized, and which accusation was published against the customs of the religious orders. Third, his novel El Filibusterismo was dedicated to the memory of three traitors, Burgos, Gomez, and Zamorao, and on the title page he wrote that in view of the vices and errors of the Spanish administration, the only salvation for the Philippines was separation from the mother country. And the fourth, the end which he pursues in his efforts and writings is to fear from the loyal Filipino breast the treasures of our holy Catholic faith. So next is Rizal in Dapitan. The ship which brought Rizal to Dapitan also carried a letter by Father Pablo Pastels, superior of the Jesuit Society in the Philippines, to Father Antonio Obac, Jesuit missionary of Dapitan. In this letter, Father Pastels informed the missionary that Rizal could live in the Jesuit mission house on the following conditions. First, that Rizal publicly retract his errors concerning religion and make statements that were clearly pro-Spanish and against revolution. Second, that he perform the church rites and make general confession of his past life. Third, that henceforth he conduct himself in an exemplary manner as a Spanish subject and a man of religion. Dinala si Rizal sa dapitan ng barkong Cebu. Ipinagkaloob siya kay Don Ricardo Carnicero Y. Sanchez. May sulat ding dala mula kay Padre Pablo Pastels para kay Padre Antonio Obac. Ipinapaalam ni Padre Superior Pastels kay Padre Obac na si Rizal ay maaaring tumira sa kumbento sa ilalim ng mga sumusunod na kondisyon. Ang unang kondisyon ay ipahayag ni Rizal sa madla ang kanyang mga pagkakamaling may kinalaman sa relihiyon at gagawa siya ng pahayag na magpapakitang siya ay isang magka-Espanyol at laban sa revolusyon. Pangalawa, na makikibahagi siya sa mga ritual at seremonya ng simbahan at pangungumpisal ng kanyang nakalipas. At pangatlo, na mula ngayon ay kikilos siya bilang huwarang sakop ng Espanya at isang lalaki ng relihiyon. Dahil hindi siya pumayag sa mga nasabing kondisyon, pansamantala siya tumira sa kwartel na pinamumunuan ni Kapitan Carnicero na kanyang naging kaibigan. In Dapitan, Rizal led an exemplary life, fruitful of achievements and idyllic in serenity. The members of his family took turns in visiting him in order to assuage his loneliness in Dapitan, a solitary outpost of Spanish power in the Moroland. Among them were his mother, sisters Trinidad, Maria, and Narcisa, and his nephews Teodosio, Stanislao, Mauricio, and Prudencio. He built his own house by the seashore, surrounded by a garden of fruit trees. He had also another house for his school boys and a hospital for his patients. Naging payak at mapayapa ang buhay ni Rizal nung siya ay nasa Dapitan. Ang ilang miyembro ng kanyang pamilya ay nagbabalak na bumisita sa kanya para maibsan ang pagkalungkot nito sa Dapitan. Kasama nito ang kanyang mga kapatid, nanay, mga bayaw, at siya ay nagpatayo ng isang bahay sa seashore na napapalibutan ng mga magagandang halaman at prutas. So next is as physician in Lapitan. Rizal practiced medicine in Lapitan. He had many patients, but most of them were poor, so poor that they have even to give medicine gratis. He had, however, some rich patients who paid him handsomely for his surgical skill. Trabaho si Rizal sa Dapitan bilang isang manggagamot. Ang kanyang mga pasyente ay mga mahihirap na hindi makabayan at mga mayayaman na nagbabayad ng malaki sa kanyang paglilingkod. Nang tumira ang kanyang ina sa Dapitan sa loob ng 1.5 taon, ito ay ginamot ni Rizal. Nakilala ang kausayan ni Rizal sa panggagamot kahit na siya ay nasa Dapitan. Sinasadya siya ng mga pasyente mula sa iba't ibang panig ng daigdig. Naging interes din ni Rizal ang mga lokal na halamang gamot. Next is Rizal as engineer. Rizal held the title of expert surveyor, Perito Argemensor, which he obtained from the Ateneo. He supplemented his training as surveyor by his reading of engineering books so that he came to know about engineering in the Dapitan of engineering by constructing a system of waterworks in order to furnish clean water to the town people. Modern engineers marveled how Rizal could have built such a system of waterworks, so he had inadequate tools and major materials, and his finances were very limited. Without aid from the government, he succeeded in giving a good water system to the Dapitan. Si Rizal na ang pinaka-expert sa pagsukat ng lupa na kanyang nakuha nung siya ay nasa Ateneo. Nadagdagan ang kanyang kaalaman sa pagiging surveyor sa pamamagitan ng pagbabasa ng mga engineering books. Nung siya ay nasa Dapitan ay kanyang in-apply ang kanyang kaalaman sa pagiging engineering at kinonstruct niya ang waterworks sa town hall o town plaza. Sa pagiging magaling ni Rizal sa engineering ay namangha ang mga modern engineer sa ngayon kung paano nagawa ni Rizal ang isang waterworks na kulang siya sa mga tools o mga materials at kulang din siya sa mga finances para dito nang walang mga sapat na tulong galing sa gobyerno. Nagtagumpay siya sa pagbigay niya ng malinis na tubig sa Dapitan. Next is civic projects for Dapitan. When Rizal arrived in Dapitan, he was sad to see it dirty, unkempt, and unprogressive. He decided to improve it to the best of his God-given talents and to awaken the civic consciousness of its people. He wrote to Father Pastels, "I want to do all that I can for this town." Nang dumating si Rizal sa Dapitan ay naging malungkot ito nang makita ang town plaza na marumi, hindi maayos at hindi maunlad. So nag-decide siya na i-improve ito sa pamamagitan para maging maganda sa paningin ng mga tao rito. Siya ay sumulat kay Father Pastels na, "I want to do all that I can for this town." Gawin daw niya ang lahat para sa lugar na ito. So next is Rizal as educator. Since boyhood, Rizal knew the value of good education. During his sojourn in Europe, he observed the educational systems of modern nations. He himself planned to establish a modern college in Hong Kong for Filipino boys so that he could train them in modern pedagogical concepts which were then unknown in the Philippines. His exile in Dapitan gave him the opportunity to put into practice his educational ideas. He established a school which was attended by a group of select boys from prominent families of Dapitan. In his letter to Blumentritt on March 13, 1895, Rizal said that he had 16 pupils in his school and that these pupils did not pay any tuition. Instead of charging them tuition fees, he made them work in his garden, fields, and construction project in the community. Itinatag ni Rizal sa Dapitan ang isang paaralan. Nagsimula ito sa 3 mag-aaral na tumaas sa 16 at kalaunan ay naging 21. Hindi niya hiningan ang mga mag-aaral ng bayan, sa halip ay hilingin sa kanila na tumulong sa kanyang proyekto, bukid at hardin. Tinuruan din niya sila ng Espanyol, Ingles at Matematika. Nagsimula ang kanyang klase pagkatapos ng tanghalian hanggang alas 4 ng hapon. This is Linguistic Studies. A born linguist, Rizal continued his studies of languages in Dapitan. He wrote a Tagalog grammar, made a comparative study of the Visayan and Malayan languages. He studied the Visayan, Cebuano, and Subanon languages. On April 5, 1896, his last year of exile in Dapitan, he wrote to Blumentritt, "I know already Visayan and I speak it quite well. It is necessary, however, to know other dialects of the Philippines." By this time, Rizal could rank with the word great linguist. He knew 22 languages as follows: Tagalog, Ilocano, Visayan, Subanon, Spanish, Latin, Greek, English, French, German, Arabic, Malayan, Hebrew, Sanskrit, Dutch, Catalan, Italian, Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, Swedish, and Russian. Noong taong 1896, si Rizal ay sumulat kay Blumentritt na nagpapahayag na alam na niyang magsalita ng Bisaya. Sa panahong ito, may ihahalin na si Rizal sa mahusay na linguista sa buong daigdig. Marunong siya ng wika. Una, Tagalog, Ilocano, Bisaya, Subanon, Espanyol, Latin, Griego, English, Pranses, Aleman, Arabico, Malay, Hebreo, Sanskrit, Holandes, Catalan, Italiano, Chino, Nipongo, Portuguese, Suiza, at Ruso. So the last on my part as a first reporter in chapter 21, Exile in Dapitan, is Artistic Works in Dapitan. Rizal continued his artistic pursuits in Dapitan. He contributed his painting skill to the Sisters of Charity who were preparing the sanctuary of the Holy Virgin in their private chapel. Pinagpatuloy pa rin ni Rizal ang pagiging artistic niya nung siya ay nasa Dapitan. Siya ay nag-ambag ng kanyang painting skill para sa kanilang Sisters of Charity para sa paghahanda ng kanilang sanctuary sa kanilang pribadong simbahan.